Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Kevin Daniel. Thank you for watching the Empire State of Americana in partnership with Radio Woodstock, Relix Magazine, and Utopia Soundstage. Please stick around and listen to the 5 awesome New York State musicians we brought you, the Q&A section with them, and an interview with Gary from Radio Woodstock.
Hi, I'm Simi Stone. Born Samantha Malelu Cernacker right in these mountains in Woodstock. This one's for my dad. It's called Take Me With You. See that there's no sense in using up your time on this changing earth for shame. Just then he walked into the open and no words had to be spoken. Stepped right on that mountain's edge and spread his wings. Take me with you. Take me with you, take me with you. Oh, I think that I can change. No more drinking, no more chains. Suck on this heart if you take me on your plane. Oh, I could learn so much from your town. Just one moment in the sweet brown of your eyes. That burden right off my back. Take me with you. 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 You. Take me with 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 you.
Hey, I'm Greg Gattine from Radio Woodstock here with Simi Stone, a lifelong Woodstocker. Tell me about what New York means to you.
New York means to me extremes. You got the city, you have upstate, beautiful colors, trees, mountains, fresh water, birds. You have rock and roll, you have hip hop, rap. It's a lot of things. I think it's really the best place in the country, to tell you the truth. someone was just saying that Americana music was started in a basement in Socrates, which is, just a few miles down the road. So, and we're from Woodstock. I mean, this is the epicenter of music. Anywhere you go in the world, as a touring musician, everywhere I went, people knew what Woodstock was and what it represented. Richie Havens, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Joni Mitchell, even though she wasn't there, but all those people have been here. Bob Dylan they've lived here. I think it's a broad spectrum, because then I think there was a whole new kind of revival of it with the Low Anthem and the Lumineers and, Mumford and Sons, and everything kind of caught on, which I think really did originate. That second wave had a lot to do with the Felice brothers that are from the area. I think people realize, oh, this is American music, because so much of the music that we, it's been usurped from everybody. Like, everyone kind of took it and said, we made it up, I mean, you could say that, it was the music of the South. It was the music of the black man, the music of the black woman, the black woman was one of the first, electric slide, amazing, incredible guitar players. But I think it came back around to Woodstock, to oh wow, we're this is the band, all this music's the band. And they're from Canada, some of those guys are from Canada, but they all kind of, partly because of Albert Grossman, but everybody kind of came to Woodstock. Ooh.
Hi, my name is Kevin Daniel, and this is my band, The Bottom Line, featuring William Pearson on guitar, Renee Hikari on the drums, and Jen Giammanco on the electric bass. Well, on a street named Two's where it all began. Grabbed that phone with my hack in hand. Well, I dug the bed and I found the dirt. It raised me down like a pile of hurt. From us to me, the ground, the sky, looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye. Trapped like a dog in a house that was. Sent her alive till the deed was done. Once was good, it's turning bad. Balls around us are raving mad. Left me quick, it's a shame they died. Looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye. Oh, tell him about it, Billy. It's only human to hit on a person who don't run when they have their fun. And when the road gets dark and lovers up and arms should shine, always remind you broken babes in the city queens. I can't see me coming through the glitter sheen. Those bright lights bounce our buckle belts. A Manhattan club is my own hell. Too many drinks for me tonight. Looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye. It's only human to, yeah, want a person who don't run when they have their fun. And when the road gets dark, all our lovers up in that should shine. Always remind, yeah, I'm headed down to the Tar Heel State. That's where I made my first mistake. Well, I'm finding truth in tobacco fields. My heart is heavy, but my soul won't yield. Looking left here in full right, looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye. Too many drinks for me tonight, looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye. Free, well, I've seen the light, looking single in the center of his bloodshot eye.
So, Kevin, tell me what brought you to New York?
You know, I actually came here playing alto saxophone. I was a jazz and blues player in college. And I think I saw one or two shows here and quickly put my horn down and locked it up in the case and realized I would never be as good as these guys who nobody knew who they were anyway. So then I decided to focus more on songwriting. And I think it's in the last 5 or 6 years playing a lot of bluegrass in New York, because in New York City, there is a very strong bluegrass scene, especially down in Red Hook at Sonny's. And some of the best players in the world, I mean, Michael Daves, I think, is one of the best bluegrass guitar players in the world, and he lives in Brooklyn. And so sort of really kneeling into that, really just leaning into this sort of like bluegrass, old-timey Americana scene that's happening in Brooklyn, and really trying hard to make it pop. But I think it's still very Nashville driven, which I think is pretty cool, but there's a lot going on in New York that I thought we should show some love to. I mean, look, this is New York State. There's millions of people here. There's millions of musicians. There's tons of amazing musicians all over the place, particularly in the Hudson Valley, particularly in New York City. But I think this is a pretty good cross-section of some successful and well-rounded musicians in the Americana scene.
Good stuff.
Cool, yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's the things I don't see that hurt me the most. I'll imagine sad endings, I'll never be old. Dark things will happen when our memories unfold. Take the time, the terror, the giving and the gold. Did you though finally know peace? Sorry and thinking of me. I can't let it go. You're the stuff of my dreams. No answers to questions like this. Yes, the things I don't see that hurt me the most. I'll imagine sad endings I'll never behold. When dark things will happen when our memories unfold. It takes the time and the terror, the giving and the gold. What really happened that night? Why did you end up in flight? I'm going to sleep with my head at your feet. I'm refusing to turn off the light. Yeah, it's the things I don't see that hurt me the most. I'll imagine sad endings I'll never be old. Yeah, dark things will happen, our memories unfold. It It takes the time and the terror, the giving and the gold.
For people who haven't been up to Woodstock, walked around, you can feel the vibe, and it doesn't feel like a throwback vibe. It just feels like a real sort of there's its own culture, and it's in the way sort of politics and the social element, it all comes together up there. It really feels like both of the moment and sort of timeless in a way. Maybe throwing back to like the old school. People don't remember that back in the day that was an arts colony.
Absolutely, and that's a great point. Most people don't know that Woodstock was an art colony back in the 1800s. One of the first utopian society kind of arts colony. And they had these really interesting thoughts about, about being more, very idealistic and very much about equality and inclusiveness. And, some of them were labeled communists. But at the end of the day, it was really about art and creating art. And they had these maverick concerts and festivals up here in the 20s that was like crazy masquerade parties. And what eventually happened was Albert Grossman, who managed Bob Dylan, Janis Joplin, the band, Peter, Paul and Mary, one of the biggest music managers in the world in the 60s, moved up to Woodstock. And that's really what jump-started the music side. Coming up here, to be able to, have the history of the band and Bob Dylan and what Woodstock stood for. So we would take, Levon and Danko and Garth, and they'd come to the station. They would play their records. But it was the thing that we did was we made it so it was very welcoming station. It was inclusive was actually the word we used. We wanted to be able to go from the band to like the Felice Brothers. And we decided to rename the station from WDST to Radio Woodstock to really encompass the Woodstock brand, which to us, was also involving the festival. And when they started the festival, it was all new artists. And so we used that as the way to stay fresh and not be nostalgic about Woodstock was never going to be stuck in the past. Because, Dean, when I first came up here, it was very much stuck in the past. And new musicians would try to come in here thinking it was the coolest place. And it was not really very inviting and open to those artists. I'd be like, another one's coming up here with big eyes and they're going to get squashed. And it really wasn't until, I'd say, the last 15 years when new blood started coming up here and new businesses started coming up here and buying out the old businesses and investing in the theaters and reopening bars that had closed. And so it's really gone through a renaissance even in the last 10 years. To me, emerging artists are really what I love more than anything. It's great to have headliners, but I love, and this is what Radio Woodstock, the station that I have owned for 27 years, stands for, and that's how Mountain Jam developed came after the radio station. And it's about breaking new artists and giving them their first play on the radio, discovering them. I love the discovery and helping them get started. So I've always kind of taking a lot of pride in the second stage of Mountain Jam and seeing bands that I've never seen before.
How's it going? I'm Sean Walsh from the National Reserve here at Radio Woodstock, and that's Brian Mitchell over there on the keys. We're going to play a song called Little Liza Jane. Come, my love, and live with me. Little Liza Jane, now we'll take good care of thee. Little Liza Jane, come, my love, and live with me. Little Liza Jane, now we'll take good care of thee. Little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza, little Liza Jane. Come on, Ryan. Tall. Little Liza Jane, he drinks his liquor and has a ball. Little Liza Jane, now I got a friend who's 3 feet tall. Little Liza Jane drinks his liquor and has a ball. Little Liza Jane. Liza Jane, no, Liza, little Liza Jane. One more time, right? Took me to this great big town. Little Liza Jane, and all these people standing round. Little Liza Jane, they were watching the great big band. Little Liza Jane, bestest music in the land. Little Liza Jane. So I'll tell you once, I'll tell you twice. Little Liza Jane, enjoy yourself and live your life. Little Liza Jane. No, little Liza, little Liza Jane. No, little Liza, little Liza Jane. One more time. Little Liza Jane, no, little Liza, little Liza too. All right.
Hi, I'm Asia from Radio Woodstock. Happy to be here with Sean from the National Reserve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you're in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up downstate. And coming here, it's like if you don't like Americana music, you don't really know anything about music.
I mean, to me, it's a huge part. I mean, like, I came to New York. I started playing at a place called Sidewalk Cafe, an open mic night that was like Americana, like, I think they called it anti-folk. I still don't really know that I know what that means. But there was a lot of that music around, and then there's, you know, Sonny's and Red Hook, and the place that we play on Friday nights called Skinny Dennis. And there's always, that place, there's always a talented, super talented band playing every night. And that's my second home. I mean, I'll go do my emails there. It's like my my office. So that's been a huge part of just everything that I've worked on since has been definitely influenced by going to see all those bands play there.
What is your definition of Americana?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think of our band when people ask us what it is. It's just, to me, it's rock and roll music. It's not, there's country stuff in there and soul music stuff and blues and rock. I loved AC/DC when I was a kid. I love loud guitars, and so I don't really know. Americana to me is, I don't really know that I understand what it is.
It's a lifestyle.
I think it's like the bigger picture. I don't know that it has entirely everything to do with what the music sounds like. But I think the umbrella to me is so confusing because it seems so much bigger, because there's a lot of stuff that gets called Americana that I don't know that. I mean, like full-blown rock bands that get called Americana music. Like
Right.
Tom Petty, I think people would call Americana, but to me that's a rock and roll band.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming up to Woodstock and
Thank you for having me.
sharing your music with us. We love it, and we love playing it on Radio Woodstock.
Thank you so
We
much.
love it.
I hate to see you go. I'm crawling across the floor and I can't hold back any longer if you don't. I hate to see you leave. You got me on my knees and I feel lost within the silence of our home. And I've wasted all my time on love. Thank the heavens up above that I won't lead you back home, waiting up for me. For every tear you cried, I told another lie. Don't we deserve the hand that's being dealt, you see? So tell me what you've done. Darling, ain't this fun? There ain't no turning back if you answer honestly. And I've wasted all my time on love. Thank the heavens up above that I won't lead you back home, waiting up for me. Ray smiled at him. You always played to win. Oh, how I wonder if I ever could have known. I hardly know your name. You just don't seem the same. Oh, ain't it funny just how quickly it can go? 'Cause I've wasted all my time on love. Thank the heavens up above that I won't lead you back home, waiting up for me. I hate to see you go. I hate to see you go, but I can't hold back any longer if you don't.
Let's talk a little bit about, growing up here in Woodstock and when you started to see everybody come up. It was starting to become kind of like a mecca, wasn't it? What did you see as you were growing up, as folks were coming in?
I think so. I mean, growing up here, there's always been artists of many kinds, painters, poets, very, very creative place. It was either that segment of the population or local people that had grown up here, like my father and his family before them, and Cashdollar's a real name. That's an old name from this area. But so that was always there. I mean, I was pretty young there, but as I got older, I realized there was so much music here. You could go see live music. I saw my first live music concert when I was 12. So it was Van Morrison and Odetta and John Hammond Jr. and Happy and Artie Traum. Wow. And it was an amazing show. And what was even more amazing is decades later, I worked with a lot of those people. I toured with and recorded with Van Morrison and worked with Happy and Artie a bunch. So it's very sweet that it comes full circle. And at a very early age, 14, 15, I was going out to the clubs and seeing all this great music. We're so close to New York City, being 2 hours north, that I think everybody just wanted to tour through here,
I think at one time there was probably at least a dozen bars on Tinker Street and in that proximity, so you could go from club to club to club and see.
That was a normal that was a normal evening. Everybody would hop from place to place. The musicians would pack up, go play another club. Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy. That was great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Doing what Radio Woodstock is doing is sort of showing the commonalities there and sort of, I think, demonstrating that Americana is not just it's a vibrant, sort of somewhat elastic format in terms of. So can you talk a little bit about how that's evolved from your
Again, like to me, Americana is, it had its beginnings and origins in the folk scene, right? And whether it was, from the Newport Folk Festival era and Pete Seeger era, it's a story of this country. It's the soul and the roots of this country, and so that never has died. That's what's amazing to me. I used to say, for a long time, I would say it's amazing to me that rock and roll hasn't died. Although, I'd say in the last, again, like 15 years, it's definitely waning. It's finally you look at the charts and we're in the music scene and where, sales are, and rock and roll is finally at the stage where it's not the dominant musical force. But to me, Americana represents the essence of what rock and roll evolved into. And it's the essence of what that community of people who still love rock music, at the center of it is a song. And it's a one person to me on a guitar or a piano, writing something that stirs feelings and that the lyrics mean something. So, support. It's not the popular trendy music of the day. So in a way, it's gotta just get out there and grind it out like it used to always do. Get it going on tour, getting around, getting into the smaller clubs and the theaters, getting on the festivals that are open to this kind of music because they're far and few between. I really think that there's only, so big you can get, and with this kind of music, and you got to start out not caring about how big you're going to get. You got to start out. It's kind of the way it was, hundreds of years ago. It's all, that's what music has become. It's the music industry hasn't died. The recording industry has kind of died and changed. The music industry is still getting out there and playing live. that's what's wonderful about music is you just keep growing and growing and getting better, honing your skills. It's not like the athletes where, they hit their prime and they start declining. Artists just keep really, really getting better as far as I'm concerned.
Particularly Americana artists, where I think it's about nuance. And as you mentioned, it's growth, and you draw on those experiences to make new music. And that just adds a richness to everything. And I think that's really a big part of it as someone who writes about music or someone who just sits out there and enjoys music and hopes to do so again, by the way.
Yeah, that was great, Dean. Yeah, man, I really enjoy that. You're awesome, dude.
Thank you. Again, I have just a ton of respect for what you do. All right, man.
Take care, Dean. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. We are the Restless Age, and we're here at Utopia Soundstage in Woodstock, New York for Thriving Roots.
I'm Greg Gattine from Radio Woodstock here with The Restless Age. You have The Restless Age, but you guys are part of other bands too, and you've played with just about everybody around here.
Yeah, coming up in the Hudson Valley, I mean, it's such a fertile music scene around here. We've all the privilege of learning from all the greats that kind of came before us, and we got to, opportunities at an early age to play up at Levon's and meet so many people, and it's kind of stemmed out where we backed up people like Donald Fagen and Kate Pearson and Amy Helm.
When you say New York music, what do you think of?
It's really a vast music scene, and I feel like we're so fortunate to live where we do. And there are just so many musicians of all genres surrounding us and everything. I mean, New York City obviously has an amazing history, but up here as well, Americana music, I feel, was almost invented or partially invented here right down the road in Socrates at Big Pink.
Maybe it's something in the Hudson Valley water, I don't know, that they found back in the 60s, and people have been coming up here to find it ever since. And
yeah, the water.
Kind of can't describe it sometimes or can't explain why it happens, but yeah, it's just a beautiful place to be from and to make music and create. And yeah, if you haven't been here, you should come visit.
It's a small world around here, and a lot of stuff gets shared, and it's really a great community.
All right, The Restless Age. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Well, I've had my fun and my troubles. I've had my hard luck and blues. I've been up, I've been down, I've been sober and drunk, but I know that I'm not born to lose. Now they've robbed us and beat us and bled us. They've worked us and paid us like slaves. And I know I was born to work and to fight and to win or go down in my grave. Born to win, you know I'm born to win. It's a funny old world I am in. I'll fight to change it like it ought to be. Born to win, you know I'm born to win. I know women all kinds and all colors. Every land where I have been. I've seen good people in trouble like me, but we'll win. You know we're born to win. Born to win, you know I'm born to win. It's a funny old world I am in. I'll fight to change it like it ought to be. Born to win, you know I'm born to win. Well, I've had my fun and my troubles. I've had my hard luck and blues. I've been up, I've been down, I've been sober and drunk, but I know that I'm not born